I attended the World Dental Congress in Sydney, flying from Perth, leaving Saturday evening. The plane was delayed for 1 hour and left Perth at 1 o'clock Sunday morning. I arrived in Sydney at 7 a.m. Sydney time, having flown all night, and was rather tired by the time I had to go and register my registration at the Congress. It's been a mammoth project for the Australian Dental Association to organise this huge Congress, with over 8,500 people arriving from all over the world and all over Australia to attend. The masses of people moving around the International Convention Centre complex was amazing. It was like rush hour on the busy Sydney streets. The presenters generally were world-class or well-renowned dental professional people that have been recognised by the dental fraternity as having sort of immense knowledge of dentistry. They were generally experts in their field. Most had written papers and textbooks and are quite well known throughout the world, dental professionals. I've put together a few clips that I took during some of the presentations I attended. Some of them were very, very good, and others were fairly hard to stay awake actually. Possibly something to do with my jet lag or whatever it was from the midnight horror flight on Jetstar coming across to Sydney. This guy was quite incredible. He was Italian, and basically said the temporomandibular joint is just like a knee joint. And what some of these professionals do to analyse the actual movement of the temporomandibular joint is way over the top. You don't need a lot of all this electronic stuff that they use to analyse the jaw movements and so forth. He said it's all generally a bit overrated. He demonstrated some interesting techniques though. This one puts a corticosteroid in between the joint surfaces to get rid of inflammation. A lot of temporomandibular joint problems are caused by stress, and when people grind their teeth and what's called bruxism, it generally puts a lot of stress on the joint itself, so a lot of it's all about relaxation techniques to solve their problems.
Like that in an orthodontic center. This is an example of what happens if you have a patient with pain. More green areas, which means after 1 week of use, the percentage of answers with the patient tapped and said, "I'm relaxed." The more green areas you have, the better the chance that the pain goes away.
Yeah, Professor Grace Bradley had quite an interesting lecture on various swellings that you can get on the gums around the teeth themselves, varying from just irritations to quite severe cancers.
An area of gingiva that is covered by stratified squamous non-fractalized epithelium, the kind of epithelium that, again, hindsight here, be a bit conservative. This is not the run-of-the-mill reattribution. This is a good example of an early clinical hospital reattribution.
Dr. Lars Anderson, he wrote textbooks that I read when I was a dental student. He's still going and world-renowned presenter and researcher on tooth replacement after being knocked out. All quite interesting stuff. A lot to take in over the 4 days. The Professor Wallad Altian, he was quite an interesting fellow. He was demonstrating how to elongate short-looking teeth, so when people smile, they don't get that gummy look. You get more of a tooth look. Looks brutal. He was using a laser to actually remove bone and gingival tissue, so it heals at a lower level, so you get longer looking teeth. Can take up to 3 months to actually allow for the healing process before the actual teeth restorations, which may be facings or full crowns, are made to make the teeth appear longer.
When we rotate, was the thickness 0.3, now it's 1.2. Now imagine what happens. Now this whole reduction was this shape. Now also we need.
Didn't know much about Algeria, but he did show a few slides of his hometown. It looked quite nice. Nice scenery. So most of these clips were shot on the last day. I'd gone through the previous 3 days watching quite a few different presentations, but this last day they seem to be probably a bit more invigorating than the previous 3 days presentations.
So we finished.
Yeah, I stayed at a hotel, the RAC headquarters, and that involved a 20-minute light train ride to the town hall, and then a half-hour walk to get to the International Conference Centre each morning, and same going back to the hotel. The hotel was on the same peninsula where the Opera House is placed, and from the hotel you can look across the harbour to where the cruise ships will take off. There wasn't any in Sydney at this stage, but in the previous visits we've noticed quite a few from this hotel. It was quite a comfortable little hotel. Yeah, the International Conference Centre is pretty flash. It's got some really nice big lecture areas, and there's many of them there, and they had a trade display too of all the local and international dental suppliers having kiosks and presentations of their equipment and so forth. You could end up spending an absolute fortune if you purchased all the stuff that you liked up there. Yeah, this guy had a really good presentation on all the various sinus problems that you can get, and explained quite a few things that I wasn't quite sure about, so we've got a beneficial education from this lecture. The sinuses themselves are really quite complicated little devices. They're covered in this mucosa that has little cilia which move debris and stuff around the inside of it and expel it out through the nose into the back of the throat, which is swallowed. And with various problems, these linings can expand and stop the actual flow of the mucus, and that's when sinusitis can be a problem, with discharges and bad breath and all sorts of other things. This lady here, the sinus had collapsed, that's why her left eye looks like it's been sunk in, because the bone itself has collapsed around under the orbit.
We've modified Bell as Al's comprehensive table.
So for those that don't know much about dentistry, this is the sort of stuff we have to sort of learn and understand as a dental professional, which I have been for the last 40 odd years. So I hope the clips that I've been showing aren't too gruesome for people who aren't dentists, and I hope it gives people an understanding the sort of stuff your dental professional has to know about, and gives the patients a bit more confidence in the dental professionals. We don't just fill teeth and pull teeth, there's a lot of other things we have to sort of understand and know about. Dentistry is just one part of the holistic human body build. It's all one big complicated mechanism, life support system in the human. Very fragile, strong and resilient. And that's Sydney for another year or so, I guess. Seem to get there at least once a year. Hasn't changed a lot. Still overcrowded. Don't know if I'd want to live there. Thanks for watching.